grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursuit of wealth.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Wealth podcast with my very special co-host, Mr. Jace Wright.
Little slip up there.
I was going to say my very special friend. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. We're back in it. We missed a week, and I am very disappointed because we were on a streak.
We were. It was a good streak.
It was a very good streak. It was, life got hectic. Dude, I was literally took 9 flights in a 20-day period.
It's a lot of flights.
Obviously, I had a few that were same day, like layover, and then another flight. But still, it was a lot of flights, a lot of airports. I was gone. I've basically been gone for like the last 3 weeks, almost. So we had pre-recorded episodes. We ran out of our pre-recorded episodes and didn't squeeze one in last time I was here before I left. So we're a week behind, but we're
Glad
back.
You're back.
We're back. We're back in the swing of things.
Yep.
We're not going to drop the ball the rest of the year. We'll have weekly episodes. But recap, on top of the crazy travel and stuff last week, in between, we had our very first Pursuit of Wealth group mastermind.
Yep.
Call it a mastermind. It's kind of like, it's a monthly ongoing kind of get together with this group. And what did you think of it?
So first, very pleased with the turnout to start. Like we wanted people to take it seriously, and it showed that they did. And so kudos to everybody that showed up. I think we only had maybe one person missing of the original that we picked.
I think we had,
or was it 2?
3.
3.
3 of the original group were missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
out of 23,
24. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, like super happy with how everybody, showed up.
And I'll preface, they all texted me and said they weren't going to make it.
Sure.
So like, we didn't really get no-showed or ghosted by anybody, which I think is cool. Everybody in advance said, like, apologize, and was like, dude, I'm not gonna be able to make it to tonight's thing, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, continue.
So it kind of solidified to me the need for something like this, right? Like, we had this idea, we're coming up with this concept. We kind of got a glimpse of how people felt about it. We got a lot of texts. We obviously had a great turnout as far as people who applied to be a part of it.
Yep.
This solidified in my brain how necessary a group like this is and how important it is.
Yeah.
Men want this
100%
and need it.
100%.
So I was very happy with the turnout.
Yeah, me too. And in that meeting, we'll give a little glimpse of how this kind of get together went. But we shared a little bit of our vision and why we're doing what we did, why we're doing the group. And ultimately, like, there's a big need. I mean, loneliness is at an all-time high. And for men specifically, like 15% of men say they don't have any close friends, what they would consider close friends. And we all have our friends on social media. We have our friends, that we call every once in a while, but like, who are your close friends? Who do you actually go do activities with? Who do you call when you need help, or who are you going to talk to when you have a business struggle or a life struggle? And a lot of guys just don't have that.
No.
And so that was kind of the big premise is, hey, we want to create connection, get back to like in life, real connection with human beings, not just social media connection. I love this podcast. This podcast, we connect with other people. It's not true connection.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, yes, we can say we have this many people that listen and we talk to this many people and we have this many followers on Instagram and we send DMs and stuff to friends and memes. But who do you actually like? If you got a financial struggle, who are you talking to?
Yeah. And that's what's tough, right? And I shared this in the meeting as well, because the definition of friend in a sense is kind of changed for most people. They'll call a friend someone who they do interact on a consistent basis with on social media. Or the example I shared a couple years ago when I was kind of in the depths of corporate world and super depressed, like my only friends were people I gamed with.
Yeah.
I'd never met them in person in my entire life, but we're winning together on Call of Duty and getting dubs. And yep. If you would have asked me back then, I would have said, yeah, those people are my friends. And in a sense, like, I would still consider them close friends.
Yeah.
In a sense, like, but the word friend is someone who you've connected with personally and in person. Right. Yeah. And what did we call it? Like a level,
I call it level 5
level
friendships.
5 friendships.
Yeah.
Those are non-existent.
Yeah.
At least it was for me. And it has been absolutely game changing to have level 5 friends now.
Yeah.
Because I probably have 2 or 3 that I would consider level 5 friends at this
Awesome.
point.
Love that.
So
Level 5 friend, and like how our definition of level 5 friend is somebody that you can talk business with, finance with, and money's like a big one. I think a level 5 friend is, you can talk life and other stuff with other friends, but like a level 5 friend is somebody you can talk money with.
you're not trying to ego chow and be fake to this person. Like that happens so much with men.
A level 5 friend, somebody you call, dude, I just lost this money.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got into a bad deal. Hey, dude, my income got cut in half. Like, I'm struggling right now. What would you do? Those are, it's not, you're not calling this person just to share wins. It's not bragging. It's like, oh, I got a pay raise. No, it's not that. It's, who do you talk to? It's the one that you could talk to, like, hey, we've been working hard. Me and my spouse have been working hard to save some money. I finally got some money to invest. Like, I know you invest, what are you invested in and why? You can have those conversations. That's a level 5 friend. And it is so taboo for guys specifically to talk about money.
Yep.
And that's probably one of the largest stressors of most men's life is money. So imagine that, your largest stressor, and you have nobody to talk to about it.
No wonder we get depressed.
It's like, yeah, and a lot of guys, you're not even talking to your wife about it. One, because a lot of wives don't even care. They're like, you figure it out. And then you don't want to, it can kind of hurt your manhood if you have to talk about struggling with money or not understanding money. I think that's another big part is you don't understand investing or saving or your finances, and you're scared to go talk to somebody because you're scared of what they're going to think of you, and you're scared that you're going to sound uneducated. So then you never learn, and then nothing ever changes. Why is, like, if you don't know how to do something with most other things in life, you go find somebody to teach you. But like with money, it's like, oh no, you don't find somebody to teach you about money. Money's private.
And what's crazy is it can be a trickle effect, because we talk about the 3 pillars of your wealth: money, relationships, and oh my gosh, health. Thank you. Golly. Yeah. But
the most important one.
The most important one. But it can trickle down in a sense to, like, so for example, sometimes men are scared to talk to their wives about money. Yeah. Because it's stressful. My dad always taught me growing up, you have essentially 3 pillars within your marriage to keep it alive. And it has to be communication, sexual and regular. Yep. Has to be religion is one big pillar. Yep. And money. And if you falter on one of those 3, you have challenges in your marriage.
100%.
And so when you're struggling with money, it can affect every other aspect of wealth that you have in your life. It can affect your marriage. It can affect the relationship that you have with your spouse. And so it's a big deal. It's a big deal to be able to talk about those things.
You think about, like, those are probably the 3 leading causes of divorce.
Yep.
Money, communication, and religion. And so, and I think money being the leading cause of divorce.
100%.
Finances are like the leading cause.
People hide from it by just having separate bank accounts.
Yeah.
Husband and wife can spend whatever the hell they want on credit cards that the other can't see. And then you come to find, you come to that breaking point of, like, oh shit, like, we have a lot of debt and I didn't know where that came from. Yeah.
And, oh, we don't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're struggling. And you think about all of this, and it's like, it just causes struggle. And when there's struggle, there's tension, and it's really hard to grow when there's tension. And so it's like, if you can just relieve the tension by talking about money and having good communication and, all those other things, it is going to make life a lot easier. Yeah. And so it was, I going back to, like, the men's group, I think it was such a good meeting. It was great because we had a list of questions that people came prepared with to that. And what was supposed to be a 2-hour meeting turned into a 4-hour initial meeting. It's not always going to be like that, but this first one, we wanted to get everybody introduced to the group. Again, because my goal with this is not a networking group. I made that very clear. I despise networking groups because they're all surface level conversations and surface level friendships. Yep. They're connections. Like, you know somebody, but you don't really know them.
And the only reason you're wanting to get to know them is to get something from them
for business purpose. Yeah. It's like, it's a very, give and take relationship. Like, what do I get out of this? Where this is like, this isn't a give and take. This is we're all coming to better ourselves and support each other.
I did offer my real estate services to all of them, though.
Jace did like just jump right in front of me and was like, I will be your agent because Anthony doesn't want to be an agent. I was like, whoa, dude, chill. I do want to be an agent sometimes.
Totally joking, by the way. Because
he did do that. He's not joking. He did do that.
Joking in the sense of like, offering my services, but I did offer, like, in a sense, but as a joke.
Yeah. But really did do it.
But really, like, I'll be their agent anytime they want me to.
It was a joke, but he didn't mean it as a joke. No, but it's good. And it was cool because we have people in all different aspects of their wealth journey.
Yep.
Starting out, some like are really far, along on it, feel like they're in a good spot business wise, but needed more help, like health wise. Mm-hmm. It was cool because going around the room, like part of it was something they're crushing it at, or one of their wins or something they're doing good at. But then it was like, what are the people closest to them? How would they talk about them, or what would they say they were like? And then also some things that they're struggling with. And it was cool because from, whether it was different businesses, different family lives, like all this, different back history, a lot of people were struggling with similar things. Mm-hmm. And so it was really cool. And I think, some of the guys in the group said it while we're doing that it's cool not cool to hear that everybody's struggling with the same things, but it's refreshing to know that I'm not the only one.
We had a couple people say that.
Yeah.
A couple people that were very happy to hear that they're not the only one. And the reason we've said it, we're going to beat it like a dead horse. The reason they felt that way is because of the loneliness that they feel.
Correct.
You're not connecting with anyone to be able to share commonality with them. But when you do, you realize, man, yeah, your struggles, I'm going through the same freaking thing. Let's get through it together.
Yeah. Because the only connection they're really having is on social media, which is never...
It's a highlight.
It's the highlight reel.
Oh, it pisses me off.
So you're like, oh, you are struggling with this too? Like, I would have never known. Like, yeah, because we're not real. We're not real with each other.
Right.
Everybody's putting on this show for social media to look like it's all sunshine and rainbows. And I've really tried to, especially recently, not project that as much on social media. Because it's hard. It's like, yeah, you want to get on social media and share your wins.
And two type of things that we see on social media. It's on one end of the spectrum or the other. Someone is either like projecting that they look like they're absolutely killing it in the world.
Yes.
Or someone is absolutely miserable. You've never seen anyone so sad in their life, and they're taking video of themselves crying.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the real stuff.
It's not like the middle ground.
Yeah.
And I've tried to really acknowledge that. Like, I caught myself literally last week. I was posting like on a story because I was jacked. Like, I was just jacked. I had been traveling, going to these conferences, and while I was gone, like the team was just crushing. Like Jace was, worked like 30 hours and was stressed. Just kidding. He did crush it. Jace has like 8 pending deals right now in a month, which is phenomenal. And the whole team was popping off. And so I was like, dude, I want to share that. Like, it's cool. And then at the end of it, I'm like, but let me be very clear. I actually wanted to like not do any of this about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Like, if you would ask me 2 weeks ago, I'm like, dude, why are we doing this? Like, oh, it's so stressful. I got to deal with all this crap. And then it's like, then you have the upside. And usually you share the upside, and you're not sharing the downside. And so I want to be like, hey, just so you know, like, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. With entrepreneurship, being a business owner, you get really high highs one week and really low lows the next week. And I'm like, so don't confuse this. Like, 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said, like, burn the team down. I never want to do this again. And now I feel good about it.
Right.
And give me 2 more weeks, and I'm probably going to be like, dude, this thing sucks. Like, why do I do this? I hate this. And that's just the game. There's just the ebbs and flows of business, unfortunately, at all different levels. You ask anybody. I've asked the guys at the very top. It's the same thing. You're going to feel really good some days. You're going to feel really not good some days. What makes the successful ones successful is that no matter what, they just keep going. During the highs, they keep doing what they're doing. During the lows, they keep doing what they're doing. And truly, it's like just staying in the game is where you get the compounded returns. Just like investing, just like anything in life. Like, the longer you play, the better you're going to do.
Yep.
So anyway, that group, excited for what's to come with that group. We got to know everybody pretty well. And now we're going to kind of build build out the course and the kind of the training stuff that we want to do with the group based on like what everybody was struggling with. And there was quite a few different things that people were struggling with that I'm excited to help. And ultimately what I'm most excited for is like in 12 months to see the relationships that form between these guys. And I'm so excited to, watch these guys all grow, whether it's business, whether it's their health, whether it's their finances, and then also feel like they have a resource or somebody to talk to about these things.
Right.
That's like my biggest thing. I saw last week and I shared it. I think it was like New York Times or Washington Post. Somebody came out with, again, just talking about like the epidemic of loneliness. And we've just gotten away from being like a community-based population to, if you look back 2,000 plus years, 200,000 years, like we're in tribes and communities. That's like what we were built for. We weren't built as like to be solo animals. And as humans, like we're not like a bear that we just go off and do our own hunting and stuff. Like we were tribal people, and we've gotten away from that.
Yep.
And so because of social media, because of, whether it's jobs have pulled people apart, and then it's like the only way you really connect with people is through social media and online, because that's an option now. It never was an option, And so you had to, if you wanted to go talk to somebody, you had to go meet with them in person. And now it's like, that's so rare. Mm-hmm. So we're bringing it back. That's the main goal. We want to bring back that connection. Selfishly, I want more friends,
Same.
So I'm excited for it. And I think it's going to be a really fun group. I was shocked with how many people want to take their fitness seriously. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that. Brendan told me after too, he's like, dude, if you want me to kind of like lead like a fitness group within it, like we totally can. So you're going to probably put put some responsibility on him to kind of build that out with us. So I'm excited for it, dude. I'm just all around excited. And we got some really good feedback and appreciation from the guys that were there for this first event. Yeah. So
you haven't been gone for the past month, just on vacation.
Yeah.
You've been actually this is a good principle. He's been working his butt off on a couple different things that he's improving on or wanting to improve on with the different businesses that you're doing, real estate, flipping. You're part of a mastermind group that meets quarterly, I think is what it is.
Yep.
You don't have to go into detail with all of it, but I think there's some principles that you probably picked up in that time frame that you might want to share. So feel free to share those things, man, because you've been gone for a while.
I've been gone for a while. And I need to regroup my thoughts, because you're right. I went from like a real estate investor work mastermind to a flipping wholesaling workshop in Ohio to then a Be Wealthy mastermind, which is my quarterly group that I go to. And those are really high level conversations about building wealth and like your long-term legacy and all that stuff.
And you're not going to brag about yourself on this, so I'm going to do it a little bit too. I would argue, and this is just from my perspective, outside looking in, you in your flipping business, for example, have taken off and have probably turned into one of the top flipping businesses in our area, by far. And you're still going and trying to learn what other people are doing.
100%.
I freaking love that.
Yeah.
So take a lesson from that. You could still be number one in whatever industry you're in, and you haven't made it yet.
Yep.
So keep learning.
There's always somebody bigger.
Yeah. Keep improving yourself.
There's always somebody that's ahead of you that you can learn from. And it's funny, me and my partner that are in the flipping business together, Rex, we talked about that today. He's like, dude, because he went to two of the things with me last few weeks. And he's like, the amount of money that we spent on those, if anything gave us clarity on the direction that we want to go, that's going to save us so much time and money. Mm-hmm. Because we learn from the guys that are doing what we thought we wanted to be doing. And then we see it and we're like, that's not really what, well, that saved us 3 to 4 years. We didn't build this up to get to there. Cause then you talk to some of the guys that are scaling, like these flipping businesses that were doing 50 plus flips a year, and they're scaling back. And you hear the lesson. You're like, why? Well, we built all this up, overhead here, like margins got smaller. I'm going to now just play this game. Same thing with investing, like part of my Be Wealthy thing. It's my mentor there. He super, super, super successful. He dropped this on us. I don't really know like how successful, but he said he's on pace to be a billionaire. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So like really, really good.
Really good.
That's a big, big thing to drop.
Yeah.
And so realizing that and like seeing the game that he's now playing is really interesting because to get to where he's been, like he played like an identical game to what we're doing right now. He ran a retail team. Then he started flipping on the side, wholesaling arm, and now buying a lot of single family rentals, built that up to like hundreds of single family rentals. And now he's liquidating a lot of single family small stuff and going into like big triple net commercial leases. He just bought a golf course in Georgia with like 170 units and like 40,000 square feet of commercial space. And they're going to totally like revamp that thing. It's sick what he's doing now, but realizing like, cool, he did all the things that we're doing, and that's necessary to get to like play those bigger games. Cause you develop a skill stack. He wouldn't be able to do what he's doing now if he hadn't learned all the skills and like flipping, deal creation through like wholesaling and stuff, running a retail team, understanding real estate, understanding the rental game. He had to learn all that stuff to now be able to go take these bigger swings at stuff. And so I think it's really important you can see where somebody's at, but look at the skill stack that they developed to get there. And then start working on your skill stack. Like, what skills do you need to ultimately get to the end goal of what you want to be doing? And so it's really cool. Like, obviously he's, late 40s. So he's a few years ahead of me. But it's cool to go to these conferences. And sometimes like even that Be Wealthy one, every time I go, I'm like, dude, a lot of these guys they're so much bigger than I am. And should I really even be here? Like those things run through my head. Talking to some of the guys that are doing, there's a guy wholesaling in like across 30 states. He was going to do like $400,000 in just wholesale fees this month. And I'm just like, dude, it's wild. And then I talked to another buddy of mine there that's, similar. He does flipping and stuff, and he was scaling up to 50, 70 flips. Now this year he's shooting for like 26, and talking to him about like why. Because we were trying to build up to 50 to 70 flips. Like what don't we know that you know now? And hearing those lessons, it's so valuable. And so I always say, like, put your pride away. It's fun to be the big fish in a small pond, but I have gained so much from being willing to be the small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And talk to these guys and learn their life lessons and learn what they've done. And it's just like, you hear that thing, like it collapses time. It really does. It saves you so much time and money and energy and burnout. Cause like sometimes if you would have went down that path, let's say this flipping, it's like if we would have tried to scale the 50 to 100 and brought on the staff that needed to happen with that, built the systems, processes, everything, and then realized 3 to 4 years later that like, this isn't what we want to do. We could have got burned out, and then we just stopped playing the game, and then we never get the compounding returns. So it's really important I always try to put myself into people's shoes that have gone down the path that I'm thinking about going down and be like, what don't I know yet? And okay, gather that information. Is this still the path that I need to go down, or do I need to course correct? And so like we did a little bit of a course correction, and we're going to kind of build our business a little bit differently than we had initially thought. And that's just from going and talking to these guys and understanding different business models. And so I always, and again, it's like your environment. I think back to like real estate when I was like the top, we were the top producer at a local brokerage, and it felt good. Every month we were the top team. But like we weren't even doing that much in sales. Like we were doing like less than 100 deals. I think we were doing like 70 deals a year. And I felt everybody's coming to me for questions, and it feels good when you're like the top guy. But I knew, I was like, dude, if I want to get to like if I want my revenue, my income to be where I want it to be and hit these end goals of how I want to live my life, I need to do more, and I don't have anybody to learn from here. Right. So that's when I initially switched brokerages and went to like EXP first, because I was following this big team that's way further ahead than I am. And I was like, I can learn a lot from these guys. And then now we're with Real, and there's so many teams that are bigger, doing way more production. Even some teams that are smaller doing way more production. And we can go learn from these teams and learn from these team leaders and be like, that's going to help us collapse time. And it's also going to push us. Now as a team, I think we're going to break, we do like 300 transactions a year. I think we're going to push closer to 4 this year. I would have never thought that was even possible if I'd stayed at my little brokerage and just be like, dude, we're closing 70 a year. I would have been like, oh, if we get to 100, that's going to be cool. Right. Now we're talking like 4X that, because we're surrounding ourselves in a better environment that shows us what's possible. Yep. And so I always encourage, like, audit your environment. Who in your friend group is doing what you want to do? Who in your friend group's like has the habits that you want to have? And if nobody is in there, like go find somebody that you can get close to that has the habits that you want, or is living the life that you want, or is aiming for the same life that you want, so that you guys can develop habits together. That's going to get you so much farther in life. We talk about your environment a lot, and I can't stress enough how important that is.
I'm a living example of it, man. Like we joke about it, but it's the truth. Like I hadn't seen the ocean in my life until about 2 years ago. Yeah. And now like on a pretty consistent basis, we're throwing out ideas like, hey, are we going to go to Cancun together? You know, are we going to go to St. George together? Like we're planning all these things that just wouldn't have happened if I didn't have the friends that I do. Yeah. And so like, but obviously there has to be income to provide for stuff like that, which is another whole thing, like being surrounded by people who produce that kind of income and help me want to produce that and provide the systems and ways to do that. Like I'm a living, breathing example of it.
100%.
Like find those people that you want to be around and freaking be a leech. Yeah. Cause that's what I feel like I am as a leech. But
I think like you're not a leech. You add value. And that's like the key thing is like figuring out where you can add value to these relationships. Sure. Because when you can add value, they're going to want to pour back into you as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, even if it is somebody that's ahead of you, figure out what you can do to add value to that relationship. And, or sometimes like a lot of these groups, like obviously there's not much I can do to add value to this guy that's leading this group, but I can pay to be in the group. Sure. Sometimes you just got to put your money where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And so paying to be in the rooms too is like, don't be afraid to do that. I think if you're starting to save money, the best investment you can make is in yourself. We've talked about that before. In yourself to increase your active income. Because ultimately, no investing or wealth building happens unless you have enough active income that allows you to cover your needs and have some money left over to invest. That's how you invest. That's how you build long-term wealth. Mm-hmm. So you got to get that up first. And I think the best way to do that is figure out what you want and go like find a course, find a program, find a mastermind group that you can be a part of to learn a new skill that's going to help you increase your active income. Yeah. So that was like one of my, big takeaways from talking to like real estate investors at that real estate conference I went to. Some guys were like, hey, I've got like $100,000 or even $200,000. And it's like, well, first, have you maximized your income potential? Some of them are building like sales teams and stuff like that. And it's like, but you're still doing a lot of the sales. Like you need to hire some employees. Like you need to put a lot of money back into your business, scale your business to a higher income and more leverage for yourself. And then start looking to buy real estate and build wealth. Sometimes like your best wealth building strategy is like to work on, if you own a business, to go back into the business for a little bit. So really it's all about return on money. So where's your best return going to be? And a lot of the times your best return is going to be into your own business. Because if you put 10, 20 grand in marketing into your business, could you make 100 grand? That's a 4X return. You're never going to get that. You're not going to get that in the market and not over a year period or anything. It's going to take you multiple years to get a 4X return. So I don't want to confuse people with, on this podcast, we talk a lot about investing in real estate. We talk about investing in the stock market or retirement accounts, things like that. Don't confuse that with like, that's your only option to invest. Don't forget about yourself. Investing in yourself and investing in your business, because I have seen probably the biggest increases in my wealth by doing that. Money back into my business and money into me going to these things to learn, like spending a few grand to go to a mastermind. That I learned a skill set. Like I would have never really started this whole flipping side of the business, flipping and like investment side of my real estate business, if I hadn't been a part of this Be Wealthy group. Mm-hmm. Well, that's now like multiple 6 figures a year that brings of income for me spending, $3,000 a quarter to go to these things. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, it's total, like that is the best return. I don't know a stock that I could have put that money into that would make that kind of annual recurring. I don't want to say recurring because it's active income, but just annual income for me. Yeah. So, that was long-winded.
No, it's good. It's good.
Another thing that I learned, there was a private session for this Be Wealthy group. So for the longest time, I've really just been a member of this Be Wealthy group. But now I'm going more on the private client side with them. They have this thing where they wanted to teach some people 5 years to get to like financial freedom. I was like, I want to be a part of that group. So now I got invited, like I got to go to their private client meeting with really just Brett talks to a smaller group of people at the beginning. And one thing he really hit on there that I've known, and we've talked about it a little bit on this podcast, but it really brought things home was, it was about running your household and your marriage like a business.
Interesting. Okay.
And he's like, you guys are all business owners, but we run our businesses way different than we run our households. And he talked about him and his wife's relationship. And he's like, we have very defined roles and responsibilities within our relationship. He's like, he calls it, like he looks at marriage like a 2v2 basketball team. And you got to be able to run plays, and you have specific roles, and you're counting one person to do one thing and, another person to do the other thing. Mm-hmm. So he's like, they've got clear expectations. He's like, one morning I walked into the garage, and the water heater was broken or leaking because there's water all over the garage. He looks at it, steps over it, gets in his car, and heads to work. Because he's like, that's my wife's responsibility. Mm. And I've got to go to work, and her role is within the household. Like anything within the household is her responsibility. And not that he thinks she should go fix the water heater, but she's going to make the call the plumber, yeah. And the plumber's going to come fix the water heater, and he's going to go to work so they can make sure they cover those bills. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because he's like, some guys, obviously, like it's not the societal norm to do that. He's like, I had an employee that had the same issue, and he missed like a full day of work because he woke up, my water heater broke, water's in the garage. I've, got to fix it, and I got to call a plumber, and I got to wait here, like it just took up half, if not the full day, where it's like, well, is your wife home too? Why do you both need to be home for that? It's not effective or efficient. If one of you is going to be home, like that person should just take care of that, and the other person should go do what they need to do. So it was it kind of, and not saying like, to some that might sound like an extreme example, but it is very much like he said, there's no expectation for when he needs to be home for work. It's like if he's got work, he finishes his work, and then he'll get home. If there's something like a lot of us, he's like, his first few years in business, it was like, yeah, I felt like I just need to be there from 9 to 5. Like a lot of us, like I just need to be at the office from 9 to 5. And then it's like, if that's kind of the unspoken expectation, 5 o'clock rolls around, your wife's going to text you like, hey, where are you? Are you home? And then a lot of the times if we're busy, like the answer is, yeah, I'm just leaving the office. I'll be home soon. Mm-hmm. But we're really not. And then 30 minutes later, hey, where are you? Oh, you haven't even left the office yet. And he's like, really, these little lies, because of unclear expectations from the beginning, put strain on the relationship. And I think
that's key, the expectations, because that example, like I'm operating under assumptions here, but I'm 99.9% sure this is how it went down, is they established those expectations with each other. Correct. Before this whole thing. It wasn't just this assumption that my wife's home and she's going to take care of it. It's, she probably knows that 100%. Is her job, that is what. And so every business is ran differently. Every household is going to be ran differently. The key lesson here is to talk and communicate with your spouse. Correct. To establish those expectations. And in that way, I'm assuming is what he means when run it like a business. Correct.
Yeah. It's like if you have an employee, it's like you don't have 2 employees doing the same thing.
Sure.
Or you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, let's make this sandwich together. You put the cheese on. No, it's like one of you just make
very ineffective.
Very ineffective. One of you just make the sandwich and the other one go do something else. Like, and really it comes down to efficiency.
Right.
And so, and I think a lot of us don't have clear. I don't even have clear expectations. Mm-hmm. This is me. I took a lot of notes on this because I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. We don't have clear roles and responsibilities. And he talked about like even their relationship, they have a nanny. They've had a nanny for a long time. His wife stays at home now. And typically when you think you have a nanny, what does a nanny do?
Helps with the kids, cooks, cleans, whatever you want her to do.
Yeah, you think most of the time you're like, oh, you have a nanny that helps with the kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, not theirs. Their nanny does all the like everything related with the housework so that the wife can be with the kids. Mm. So when the nanny gets there, she's doing the dishes, doing the laundry, vacuum, like cleaning up the house, going to the grocery store, basically doing all the other things that a lot of the times we get a nanny and you're like, hey, you help with the kids while I do all the housework and get caught up.
Sure.
But it's like, why? Because like, that's kind of what most people do. We just assume that. It's like, dude, this is your life. This is your family. You get to build the rules. What do you want your rules to be? Hey, it doesn't have to be this way. Why don't you run it this way?
Right.
And so like, it was kind of just eye-opening it's our life. We can architect it the way we want. There may be societal norms or the way people have done things. Doesn't mean that's the right way to do them. Figure out what your right way to do it is and get on the same page with your spouse. He's like, another example I'll say is like, if, the wife has something after 5, how many times is like a husband, if you're working, obviously if you have a 9-to-5 job, this might be a little bit easier, but I'm talking more to the self-employed people. Mm-hmm. Your wife's going to say like, hey, I've got an appointment at 5:30. Are you going to be home for the kids? He's like, I never have that pressure. She knows if she has an appointment, she needs to find a babysitter or have her nanny or like whatever. She needs to work it out. It's part of that because that's her responsibility. Just like he doesn't say, hey, I need to go do something. Can you step in the business? No, he's got to run the business and run the finances, and she's got to run the household. And so he's like, and sometimes like she never asks me what time I'm going to be home, or if she's got something to go do, she'll line up a sitter. He's like, sometimes I'll be rolling in to the house right when the sitter's getting there. He's like, I just hand her $100 bill or whatever she's going to get paid that night. Hey, thanks for being willing to cover. I got this. Like, I'm home. He's like, and you just got to be willing to like, he's like, it gives him this untethered freedom to go build. I mean, if you're playing at the level that he wants to play at, you have to have that. Sure. Like, and so
I think you have to have that to build anything, which is why we talk about being in alignment with your spouse. Because imagine if there wasn't alignment there and the expectation was to be home at 4 or 5 o'clock every night. Like, I can't tell you how many, just in real estate, how many times that would affect the ability to grow real estate.
Oh,
not be able to
show a house after 5.
Yeah. That's when 90% of people want to go see houses. And a lot of the times it's the spur of the moment. Like you don't know that you're going to go show that house at 5 o'clock when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And so, the expectations are clearly important.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think a lot like, yes, once you have money and stuff, I mean, you can kind of dictate your schedule a little bit more. And he says that he's like, there's a lot of gurus online that are like, they preach like the work-life balance they now have, but they now have because they're wealthy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course you can take your 3-hour morning routine and cold plunge and go to the gym and do all this stuff. He's like, you get to do that. You've earned it. Or you can be home at a certain time and you can say no to certain things. A lot of people are like, oh, it's what you say no to. You need to focus. And it's like, that only applies like when you have money or you have enough opportunities already. Mm-hmm. If you're not where you want to be, you don't have those luxuries. He's like, when I started out, I said yes to everything because you need to create and you need to try as many opportunities as you can to start building where you're going to get to. And then when you have a surplus of opportunities, then the game is focus on the best opportunities, say no to the rest, but you don't get to start there. Cause like, if you don't have any opportunities, the first one that comes to you, you shouldn't say no to it. Like you just say, yes, I'll go do that. Like that's what you have time. You have your opportunities to trade your time to go do things. And then that slowly progresses into now you have money and you don't have to trade your time as much. You get to trade your expertise or your influence or your money. And so I think that was important too of knowing, we all want, unfortunately there's always trade-offs and when you're building and you're in that early pursuit, you're going to have to be willing to trade a little bit more.
And I think most people, I won't say most, I think there's a lot of people that fall into this trap, and I still catch myself falling into this trap as well. And again, it's going to circle back to just communication and expectation with your spouse. But as a man, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you start feeling a little bit guilty because you're not at home a lot, but then you're guilty when you are home because you don't have the money that you want. And there's no happy balance there. You're either gone too much or you're not making enough money and you're disappointing one way or the other. Yep. That disappointment comes with only comes when you don't have expectations or you haven't communicated clearly. And so there was one instance I remember because I started falling to that, especially as I started getting busier in real estate.
Yeah.
First year was fine. Like I sold 10 deals. I was home as much as my wife wanted me to be home. But we didn't have the money that we wanted. And that was a consistent thing that we talked about. Like, hey, like we got to go get more money. Then I got a little busier and it's like, well, now you're never home.
Yeah.
Well, we need more money. That's why I'm not home. There was a moment in time where, you know, me and my wife were sitting down and we talked and talked about this scenario. And it's like, to your point of what you just said before I started talking, you're going to have to sacrifice at some point.
Yep.
How long that sacrifice is, how like effective it's going to be is going to be based on the communication that you have with your spouse. So when me and Chelsea were talking, it literally boiled down to like, I am going to say yes to absolutely everything I possibly can, which means I may wake up in the morning at 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever the time is, and not have a dang thing scheduled that day. But I still might not get home till 9 o'clock at night, because if I get a lead and they want to go see it at 6 o'clock that night, I'm saying yes. I don't care what's on the schedule.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going.
Yep.
You have to pay that price in order to get to the point where you are making a little bit more money, and you can then say, hey, I'm going to schedule that for tomorrow. Or, you know, hey, I'm going to have my assistant go do that one, or, you know, whatever that case may be. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to communicate with your spouse on the sacrifice that you're about to make before you go into it, or there's going to be friction.
Yes.
And you will feel like you are not good enough every single time, because you're either not making enough money or you're not home enough.
Love this. And I'm going to add something to this.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's true. And where people get the next step to that is when you are sacrificing and doing this, the next thing people do is they make more money, and then lifestyle creep comes up with them.
Don't do that.
And then they're stuck.
Then you just keep doing it.
And then, because then it's like, dude, I've been sacrificing the last 5 years and I feel like I'm not progressing. It's like, because you just upgraded and I get it. I get why you do it. You work hard, you're sacrificing, you feel like you're away from your family to make this money. And then when you make the money to compensate for being away from your family and doing this, you buy things to reward yourself. Like, dude, I've been grinding so hard, and we deserve this new car. My wife deserves this new car. And then you spend the money, and then you have to go do that again to get the money back. And it's like, dude, the key to this is early on being willing to say yes to opportunities and go out there and work your ass off to make more money, but have control your expenses. This is again with your spouse, get on the same page here of why are we going to go work hard? Okay, we're going to keep our expenses here, go work hard. All this extra money that we save is going to go into investments so that we can start buying assets or creating cash flow or investments that are going to pay us, so that like in a few years, you don't have to work as hard because you have bought back your time. You have the freedom. I see this with business owners. Business owners get stuck in this they start scaling themselves. I've seen, whether it's real estate agents, kind of any field, you're usually good at the activity, which is why you start the business or do the thing. You scale your income, but with your income, you decide to upgrade your lifestyle instead of reinvesting into your business to buy yourself leverage. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, you see the guys making 200 grand a year, and like, dude, I'm making 300 grand a year. All I do is work. Well, it's like, well, dude, if you're making that kind of money, why do you not have help? Yep. Like, why do you not have an employee? Why are you still the only one running the business?
It's because their lifestyle crept up with them.
Because you bought a bigger house and a new truck and all this stuff. It's like, the goal is to go create your business to make, bring in $300,000 in income, but live off of 150.
Yep.
Because then you have 150 that can go back into the business. You can buy, you can have, 2 to 3 employees on that if you want, $50,000 salaries. You can have one A player at 100,000 and then another person at 50. And then you have leverage. And then if you buy back 20 hours of your week, can you not go make another 150,000 or do the things in your business that would bring in another 150,000 in revenue a year?
And that's when you can go get the bigger house.
You should. Yeah. Once this is stabilized and running, then you can go buy the bigger house and the bigger car. But then you see the guys that do it too quick, and then they are always, I'm going to use real estate for an example, they're always in production. Mm-hmm. Why are you still in production? after 30 years.
You and I are thinking of the same person.
Yeah.
We're not going to say names, but this individual is still heavily in production.
Yeah.
And we can probably bet why.
Yeah. But I see it all the time with agents, especially, I mean, obviously solo agents,
right?
That are running around with their head cut off. Like they're 40 years old. They're like, oh dude, I've been so busy. And they almost wear the busyness like with pride.
Right.
And I feel bad when agents come talk to me. They're like, dude, it's been crazy month. Like, I'm sure you're crazy busy. I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy busy. I'm going to film a podcast at 1 o'clock. No, it's hard. And don't get me wrong, we are busy. With all the business that we're running, we are busy. But even I go to this Be Wealthy Mastermind group, a lot of these guys are playing at a high level, dude, really high level. Some of the guys making 7 figures in production by themselves. And you talk to them like, dude, why are they all still producing? Like, we've kind of scaled ourselves out of production because it wasn't like, I still do production, so I can be your agent if you're looking for an agent. Don't let Jace fool you. No, but for the most part, we've kind of scaled ourselves out of production because I didn't want to have to go on appointments after 5-6 o'clock at night. I wanted to buy back my freedom. Yes, I'm giving up potential income because I could still be a producer and still freaking sling deals and make all the commission. Now I mostly refer to agents on the team, and it comes into the team business, and I have a salary with the team business, and hopefully build it up where it makes me money that I want to make. But I chose to give up money I could have made to get the time that I wanted. And then it's like, with that time that I now created, could I go replace the income in a more efficient way? That's the game.
Or not.
Or just be happy with what I'm making.
The key is choice. You have
options.
You have that choice.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's when you have options. When you don't know your options, you don't have any.
Yeah, if you let life creep up with your income increase, you lose the ability to choose.
And I think that's probably something that in the back of my head has always been a fear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be forced to do anything. Like I'm very protective of my options.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I have a hard time like even buying like nice cars or things like that, because I'm like, dude, if I do that, like I don't have as many options. My back's against the wall. And I like get really claustrophobic with that. Because I like to have options. And I think life gets better when you have that flexibility and you can decide what you want to do. You don't have to. And so, and really that's like ultimately when we talked about wealth with these other 25 guys, what was everybody's answer?
As far as, freedom. Freedom was the ultimate answer that everybody wanted.
What does wealth mean to you? Everybody was some form of freedom.
Which again goes to choice.
Is options.
Options.
Yeah. It's funny, like, let's say somebody that's making $1 million a year. These are big numbers, I know. Just play along with me here. Even for them to go to like 700, you could, let's say, and I'm using this example because I actually heard this on an Alex Ramosi Instagram post. There's a dentist who was making $1 million a year. And he said like, he's struggling because he has a young, like 3-year-old, and sometimes his son doesn't even want him to see him because he's just like, you work all the time, blah, blah, blah. So he feels really bad, which granted that probably does feel really bad. You're making $1 million a year. Alex was like, how much does it take? How much does it cost for you to go get like a associate? You know, I think he said like 150 to 200,000. Okay. How much time would that give you? Probably like buy back 20 hours a week. So do you want to go from making $1 million to making 800,000 and get 20 hours a week? Like,
it's almost a no-brainer.
Why would you not make that trade if that's really bothering you?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
And that's not 20 hours that you're going to spend at home. Like, again, to your point, you may reinvest that money or reinvest that time to then get to a point where you're making 1.2, 1.3.
Correct.
Because now you have leverage, you have help. And
that was Alex's exact thing, was like, but we'll do that. And then do you think with that extra 20 hours, you could get that income back in the business? Because you can focus on the business now. Well, yeah. And even if you didn't get all of it back, who cares? You still got, and then you can invest. Let's say you want to be like, you want 10 hours a week more with your family. Take the 20, put 10 hours more back into your family, and then spend 10 hours more on the business to try to get back that 200 grand. Or just figure out how to live life happily on 800. Like,
and this is where, like, I don't ever like to brag on myself, but one thing that we've talked about that I feel like I'm pretty dang good at is self-analyzing where I know I want to be and where I'm comfortable with.
yeah.
In no universe on the planet should I be like wanting or needing an assistant.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could do it all myself still, but it's just something I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
But knowing that I still want to increase and scale, I did take this year and I hired an assistant. And the reason for that is I had a certain amount of business that I was generating on my own.
Yep.
And I had another leg of the business that I knew that if I dabbled into it would exponentially grow my business. But it wasn't something I was willing to sacrifice and do based on conversations with my wife, based on we had that expectation. I'm in a place where I like where I'm at.
Yep.
But still my goal is to grow. And so we took that dip to where now I'm giving up a little bit of my commission on everything that I was doing in that one sphere, but it's opened up that different leg, and I'm not having to spend any more time for that leg to start developing and growing.
Yep.
There's a little bit of initial training and different things like that to get it going, but on a smaller scale, not 1 million to 800, it's like, hey, if I was willing to take a dip in my business, even though it's not very big, to add this leg and grow.
Yep.
And there were a couple people in our mastermind that like they feel overburdened with the amount of hours that they're putting into their business.
Yep.
And that was our advice to them is be okay with taking a small dip so that it can grow exponentially and you're going to make more money in the long run and work less.
And the only way you get to that point is having your personal finances dialed to be willing to take that risk.
Sure.
And I think that's where a lot of people, they don't get their personal finances dialed. So they don't know what it would look like if they took less money home. And they can't, I think you were willing to do that this year because you spent last year getting your personal finances in order. You knew what your burn rate was.
Yep.
You said, okay, if this is my burn rate and I can stick to this, I feel good taking a risk to hire an assistant. And now look at your year. You're going to do what you did all last year in the first 5-6 months of this year. So you're going to potentially double your bottom line for hiring an assistant that created leverage. And you're not.
There was like you've mentioned, there was a couple weeks where it was really busy, and it's a good problem to have. And that's going to happen. Right.
But like ultimately you're not far off from the time you spent last year.
Correct.
So you bought leverage, took the time to get that leverage, and now watch what that leverage can do for you. But again, I go back to the only reason you did that was because you had your personal life in order.
And I love how you pointed that out because I think that's a really important thing. Like I definitely would not have made that decision if I was still $40,000 in debt.
Correct.
Like
you can't
do it. You
don't survive.
I eliminated that choice by being in debt. And so when I got rid of that, I had that choice. And so, yeah, very, very important. Get your personal finances in order. That's always been step number one that we've preached on this is get out of debt. And then you can make decisions from there.
It bleeds over.
Yep.
If there's a problem in your business, there's probably a problem at home.
Yep.
Unfortunately. I think that's like the biggest thing. In you mentioned those guys in our group that talked about working too much and stuff. There's a problem in the business. There's probably tension and friction at home. And you need to get that in order to help get the business in order to make the next step.
And it goes with a really important lesson. I don't know how many spouses listen to us on this, but like we talk about the communication with the spouse. I cannot tell you how important it is to have Chelsea be like the supporter and cheerleader for what we're trying to build.
Oh yeah.
I'll conquer the freaking world for that woman.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So if we have spouses listening to this and you're in a position where your husband or wife is over leveraged in the business that they're building, the best thing you can do for them is number one, communicate, but number two, be their biggest cheerleader, and they will conquer the world for you. And they'll want to spend more time at home and figure it out.
Yep.
When Chelsea changed her approach to you're never home and we're not making enough money and all this to, man, you're killing it. I'm so proud of you and all that. Well, damn, I wanted to be home more. I wanted to be around that.
Yeah.
And now I love being home and we're still killing it.
Yep.
That would not have happened if she wouldn't have changed.
100%. That's actually a very good point. And again, it comes back to being on the same page. It's funny. That's something that my coach kind of talked about when he was telling everybody this. He's been traveling a ton and he's usually always just bought and sold properties, run his businesses within Scottsdale. And right now he's doing some big plays. Like I said, he bought that golf course, all these units. But he had to go underwrite a lot of deals in Texas, all over the country. So he would fly him and his small team to go analyze these deals and make offers. And they're big deals. So you need to put boots on the ground. And then he runs mastermind groups too around the country. So he was traveling a lot. And he's like, one spouse could look at that and be like, you're always gone, and tell your kids like how dad's going on another work trip and stuff like that. But he said, no, his wife, their mentality around is like, how lucky are we? Dad's going on another work trip. How lucky are we that he's willing to go out there and provide for us? Because he doesn't want to be gone. Like, I think a lot of times, sometimes we look at it as like, oh, you're leaving again. Like, you get to go do something. But dude, don't get me, like, I was traveling a lot. I missed my kids so much. I wanted to be home, but I also knew that I needed to be there for me to get better, for me to break through the ceiling that I feel like I'm at right now. I need to go get some more skills, and I need to get some more data and input. And so I need to go do these things. And if you're a spouse, a supporting spouse, letting your significant other know that, like, just appreciating what they're doing. Like, thank you for going out and bettering yourself for us and our family.
The other important lesson here that I want to point out is you can't just expect that from your spouse.
No.
There was a key moment where I had to tell Chelsea, hey, if this continues to happen, here's how I react.
Yeah.
If I can get this from you, I'll conquer the world. Like, that was kind of the terminology that we use. So put your ego aside, be vulnerable with your spouse.
Yep.
Let them know what you need, and it'll change everything.
What triggered that conversation? Like, how did you know that's what you needed, and how did you get that insight?
It was consistency, because again, it was being trapped in that mindset of, and people, I've seen jokes about it on reels and stuff, but like, I was literally in the mindset of I'm in a lose no matter what I do. I wake up in the morning and I go bust my ass at work to come home and get told I'm gone too much. And I feel like a failure that day. Yeah. But if I was to wake up and stay home all day, well, we don't have money and we're living in a mother effing basement. Yeah. And I feel like a failure. Yep. And so there came a point where I told Chelsea, I'm like, I just feel like I'm losing no matter what.
The math doesn't math.
The math doesn't math. I cannot win with this mentality. Yeah. And I said, here's how I believe I can win. Go all in with me on this for the next 2 to 5 years. Let me just go ham. Yep. And here's what I need from you during that time. Yeah. And if you can do it, and I use the exact words, and I've said it a couple times now, I will conquer the world for you. Like that, the power that she had
gives me chills.
Yeah. The power that she had for me to go out and be successful, it's actually crazy. Yeah. It really is. And so, like, I give a ton of freaking credit to her I haven't accomplished a ton yet, still plan to, but
this year's looking good.
This year's good. Would not have been possible without her.
100%. I'm going to put you, I'm not on blast. Yeah. But you've been with us for 3, going on 4 years?
Going on 4. Yep.
There was like the 2 years there that you were kind of stagnant. Mm-hmm. Like similar production, work-life balance, like this, I can't tell you enough how much I've seen your growth. And I'm trying, you're like our case study. I'm looking back, was it the personal finances that got in order that then gave you the confidence to want to go do these things, to have that conversation, to now be where you're at. And like, I'm so excited to see where you're going to be at in the next 24 months. Right. Cause it's like, dude, what can you go out and accomplish? I think it is so powerful. It's cool that you had that insight, that you were able to self-analyze and be like, this is a struggle. It is a lose-lose. Like the math doesn't work here. What
can't operate that way.
I can't operate that way. But that is a very hard conversation to have.
takes vulnerability. Like I teared up. I cried.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not I hate crying.
Yeah.
Pisses me off, gives me a headache. I hate crying with the fiery passion.
Yeah.
But in that moment, like she needed to know how serious of an issue that was and how that mentality affected me and what my potential could be if I had her in my corner. Mm-hmm. And it was a big deal. It was a big changing moment for us.
Huge.
Yep.
Like I've said it multiple times. Your who you choose to do life with, your significant other, your partner, is really going to be like the key indicator of how successful you can or can't be. I think that exact thing, like if you have the expectation set, you can go conquer the world. And I've seen relationships where that is never really talked about or defined. And then there's animosity that builds up.
Oh yeah.
Cause like I wanted to go do all these things, but I never could because this person always held me back. And it's like, well, did you guys ever talk like that? But it was never talked about. That was never a discussion of what you wanted to do. And so it doesn't just happen. And don't think like, I think you're going to see on social media, like there's a lot of pressure. There is women that are like that. And then you're just like, well, my woman's broken, no, it's your wife is not just going to do these things.
Got to establish the expectation.
You got to establish the expectation. You got to have that and everybody's different. Everybody's situation is going to be different. You need to have the conversation around what your situation is and what you need out of your spouse and what your spouse needs from you. And I'm sure Chelsea's like, well, I also need these things to be done. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, got it. I got to go do these things.
Yep.
Like what you can't ask your spouse you can't have that conversation with Chelsea and then not go produce more.
Right.
That would look really bad.
Really bad.
And then you can't go produce more and then just buy more things and not have more money for the family. Because that would also look really bad. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do this, you have that conversation and you need to go perform and have a game plan with how that performance is going to then benefit the family. Because I think that's where people get this all wrong. Maybe they have the conversation. Their spouse lets them go work more, But let's say, you have that conversation, you're able to go work more, you have that freedom and flexibility, and you work more, but then you guys never get ahead because you're not managing your finances. Well, then what's the difference? Like you're in the same spot, you might as well just been home. I think you have to have clarity around where you guys are going and a pathway to get there. And I think that's really what set you apart was you got your finances in order first. You guys had a conversation of where you wanted to get to financially. And then it was like, cool, I need to go do this in order to hit this goal. But if you don't know where you're going, it's really hard for Chelsea to get on board to say, well, what is the end goal of all this? Why are we sacrificing? What are we trying to get to? Where are we even at financially? Yep. Like a lot of spouses don't even know where the family is financially. And that's something I've actually thought a lot about because I've usually just managed all the money within our relationship. And I thought about it, especially with me traveling. This sounds cynical. With me traveling all this, I'm like, dude, what if I die? Would Brie even know like where any of our money is? What accounts, where it's at, what needs paid, what doesn't need paid, where if she needs money, where to get it from. I'm like, she doesn't really know any of this. Because I've kind of just like we're going to work on, that's one of my goals, takeaways from this is we're going to work on clear roles and responsibilities within our household. But like our unspoken, like my role has unspokenly has always just been you manage the money and the wealth and the investments. And she's been super gracious with that. Like, and she manages the kids. Like I've never had to order groceries. I'd never even go to the grocery store. Like I've never bought the kids clothes, worried about their activities. She always has everything handled. And I appreciate that. And she has never had to worry or think about money. Credit card just gets paid every month. And she doesn't make any decisions around our investments. That can sound bad. She trusts me. She just says, yeah, go put our money where you think it is going to do best and let's rock. But I look at that now and I'm like, vice versa. Like I should also know some stuff for the kids, like what they do need and where to get it. And when, if case, I'll just think about like worst plan. I've had friends that have had a significant other die pass away, and hearing the stories of like not knowing what they needed to know to get things done can be really hard. And so like it like flashed on me this last week. I'm like, I need to break down our net worth tracker for her and be like, here's where our money is. Here's what we have in place. Here's the investments we have. We have multiple businesses. A lot of those businesses are in partnerships. She should understand the partnerships. Mm-hmm. If anything happens to me, hey, like we're a 50-50 partner in this. Here's where the operating agreement is. Not that I don't trust any of my partners. I trust them all, but like, don't get fugazied and not know what we do or don't own. Here's all the assets that we own. And here's, if they're with a partner, here's our percentage of the asset that we own versus what they own. Here's a debt on it. Here's what the equity on it. Like she should just, whether she needs to know it, it needs to be all in a place that she can easily find it and understand it. And so that was kind of my big thing that I'm putting together now is that for her. And then something with all of our bank accounts and passwords. Not that she needs to get in them right now, but if she ever did, she needs to know, how do you access a retirement account? Mm-hmm. How do you access our Robinhood account? And so I think that's important. And then doing that and then having a conversation around the roles and responsibilities and where we want to get to is going to be like it's something that I need to do. Cause I've said on here, like, I don't really have I just know that I want to make good money. I want to build long-term wealth. I've never had like a big target or even like, what do we want our life to really look like? We kind of know, but we haven't like defined it. And I think once you have it defined, then decision-making becomes a lot easier. And so if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that. I'm going to be doing that. I think that's going to progress your relationship and your life tremendously. I think what you've done already to this point is phenomenal. For you to be able to have that. I've looked at you as somebody that you are really good at self-analyzing and knowing what you are and aren't good at. One thing you are good at is communication. Like you're really good at having communication and having hard conversations. And I think a lot of us struggle with that and can get better. So, that was a fun podcast. We're over an hour here, so we'll probably try to wrap it up. I have, there's on our next episode, we're going to get back into some finance things. I got to share my net worth. We got to share Jace's net worth update. And then we've got some finance things that we want to talk about. So please stay tuned for next week's episode because it's going to be fire. But I'm just freaking, I love what we're doing here. Yeah. It's super exciting. The podcast. Welcome back, by the way. With the group. Thank you. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I'll be back for 2.5 weeks and then we leave to Arizona again. But we'll make sure we have some podcasts signed up there. So anyway, we'll thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Welcome to the chase where the champions dwell. To the grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursue